Hey, Technology One students. This is Mr. Dowd, and this is the COVID-19 data assignment. Your job is to use a spreadsheet to record, calculate, and create charts of some Washington State COVID-19 data. It's waiting for you now in the Google Classroom. Check it out. The first file that you guys are going to need is this spreadsheet. This is a Google Sheet, and it will have this title, COVID-19 Data Assignment. And you had a chance to look at a spreadsheet assignment before. There was one data assignment, and I know that not everyone, when we were still in school, had a chance to do it. But don't worry, I'm going to talk you through this spreadsheet. A spreadsheet is a type of document that lets you enter formulas to do calculations for you. A spreadsheet can contain text or it can contain numbers, and it mainly calculates the numbers that you enter. So when I use the word calculate or when I use the word formula, I am talking about doing mathematical operations with the data that you put in your spreadsheet. If you still don't know exactly what I mean by that, don't worry. I am going to show you. A spreadsheet is made up of columns and rows. And you can see that the columns are identified by letters of the alphabet. So the mouse is pointing right now at column A. Over here is column B and column C. The rows are identified by numbers. So the top one that has the column headings is row 1. And then you can see I'm pointing now at row 2, row 3, row 4, etc. So if I'm going to click on a particular cell, I will click right here. Now the cell that is highlighted by this blue box is in column C. It is in row 3. So this would be cell C3. These rectangle spaces, as you just heard me say, are called cells, and the cells are identified first by the column and then by the row. So I've clicked here in column B in row 6. This cell is going to be, during that pause, I hope you said cell B6. Now, this is the file that I've already put the headings on for you, and this shows you the type of information that I want you to put into the cells. Where it says county, I want you to choose 5 counties from Washington State and enter them in the cells. Where it says number of cases, I want you to put the number of COVID-19 cases in each of those counties. Where it says county population at the top of the column, for each of the counties you choose what is their population. And then we are going to calculate the percentage of each county. That is the percentage of people that have the COVID-19 virus. And then what is that county's percentage of the state's total COVID-19 cases? And the state total we're going to put in cell G2 right over here. Now, if you're wondering, where do I find this information? Don't worry, I got you covered. This document is also in the Google Classroom. It is the explanation of the assignment apart from this video, and it has the links for you. One is to the Washington State Department of Health, and the other is to a Washington State population page where it is sorted by county. So this is the Department of Health page, and this is a page about the COVID-19, and you can see that it looks like this at the top, and you have to scroll down a little bit to find this handy map. This is a map updated daily that shows you the total number of cases, sadly, the total number of deaths, and the total number of tests given. And then the counties, if you mouse over them, if you just hover, it will show you what is the name of the county, in this case, Whatcom County, How many confirmed COVID-19 cases do they have? You can see here it is 258. And those are the numbers that you are going to need, specifically the confirmed case number. So every county you scroll over is going to give you the updated number of cases. And you can see there is some color coding. The darker the shading, the higher the number of cases. Now, the other numbers you needed were the population. And here is the population by county. So when you choose a county, the counties are listed here. For instance, King County, that's where Seattle is. And they have a population there of 2,163,257 people. So when you choose your 5 counties, you'll need to go to this page to get their current population. So back to our spreadsheet, I'm going to go ahead and start by choosing some counties. Now, when I'm going to enter data into a spreadsheet, I'm going to click on the cell, and then I'm going to use my keyboard to put the data in. I'm going to start with the county I live in, Whatcom County. And then I just hit the Enter key, and it will go down to the next. If you hit the Tab key, it will move the cell. Oops, it's not doing it here. Let me stop again. If I hit the Tab key, it will move to the cell on the right. Or I can just click and go to any of the cells that I want. I will put in Skagit County, where I work, King County, where I used to live, and then maybe something from a different part of the state. All right. Now I need to know the number of cases in each of those counties. And so I have, we'll start at the top. I will simply scroll over. Here is Whatcom County, and I can see it's 258. I will go back to my spreadsheet and type in 258. Notice what the spreadsheet has automatically done. When I typed in text, it aligns it on the left. When I type in a number, it aligns it on the right. This is a way the spreadsheet keeps track of and helps you keep track of what is text and what is a number. You can always go up like you can in a document, and you can change the alignment to suit how you want it to look. For this assignment, I think it's fine to leave it at the default. I'll talk about formatting numbers in a little bit. Through the magic of editing, you can see that I have already filled in the numbers. Now we're going to do the same thing for county population. I am going to go to the county website, and here, if you wanted to, you could copy and paste. Control C. Control V. And you can see that it pasted a particular size of text. And if you don't like that, you can go up and you can change it. All right. Again, I've got all my numbers in, and now I am ready to do some formulas and maybe a little bit of formatting of my spreadsheet. So you can see I got like a solid outline here. I pasted some format when I copied and pasted from that website. And you'll notice that this one has the commas in like we would. And if you want to change how your numbers look, you can do that. If you look up at this toolbar above your spreadsheet, this section right here shows you what your numbers are going to look like or how they will be formatted. For instance, this little $ says formatted currency, as currency, which is like how money looks. Here, you can format it as a percentage. And then you can move the decimal points right or left, or you can go to this menu and you can make it look the way you want. And so here would be the number format. So for instance, if I want the commas and a decimal point, I can just select format as number. And now it looks like that with the decimal point and 2 zeros, showing that it is exactly 216,812. And then if I decide, nah, I don't want those decimal points, I can just get rid of them. I can make them go away. So you are free to format the numbers to look how you want. In this case, it doesn't make sense to format them like money or as a percentage. We are going to get to the percentage, and I'll show you how to use that. One of the things it asks you to do is totals in selected counties. So for instance, I want the total of the number of cases in these 5 counties. And here's something else. You'll see that this text for the total runs into the B column, whereas up here, I have them all staying within the column, and it made this row wider to accommodate all the text. Here's how you do that. You click on the cell where your text is in, and then up here on this little symbol that shows text wrapping, you click that, and you can either have it go through the columns, or you can widen the column out to contain everything, or that little circular arrow makes the text all fit in there. And then again, you can make it bold if you like, or format it how you want it to. So now I have a spot for my data to enter. And I'm going to enter my first formula here, and I'm going to let the spreadsheet do the work. If I had pencil and paper, I could add these numbers up. I could add 258 plus 176 plus 4,422 and so on. Or way over here on the toolbar, I can click the functions and I can call up a sum function. And that sum function is going to go in here, and it's going to say equal sign sum. And we all know from being in math class, the sum is the answer to an addition problem. I want to sum the numbers that are in these cells. So I'm going to click. I'm going to hold my shift key, and I'm going to click at the end of that range of cells. And you will see that it has put that range of cells in here from B2 to B6. And then I'm just going to hit the enter key. And now it has dropped that total in here. Now, I could certainly have had the spreadsheet add up the numbers. It could have just added 258, and there's a way I could type that in. But if I have it add the cells, well, then that lets me go back and change these numbers, because the number of COVID-19 cases is going to be different tomorrow and different the day after, because these numbers are changing. And that's the nice thing about a spreadsheet. If you set it up in an organized way, then you can, as you go in, or as any user goes in and changes the daily numbers, your total will always be updated because it's adding the data that is in the cells, not these specific numbers. Now, the other thing that I want to do is I want to get a percentage. I want the percentage of the county's population that has COVID-19. So the percentage of county with COVID-19. Now, from math class, we should know that to find the percentage of that part, then we divide that part by the whole and then multiply by 100 to get a whole number percent. Well, again, the spreadsheet's going to do this for us. We just have to remember what order. We are going to divide the part by the whole, and we are going to do it by cell name, so we don't even worry about the numbers. And here's how you type in a more specific calculation. We do equal sign, and then we do parentheses, and we are going to say, hey, we want cell B2, and we want it divided by cell C2, and then we want to make sure and close our parentheses. And then if we do that and we hit enter, we're going to get a number, and it's this giant decimal number, because that's what happens when we divide a smaller number by a much bigger number. Now I can multiply by 100 and try and figure that out, or I can just highlight that cell again by clicking on it, and go to my percentage format button up here in the toolbar and click it. And now it tells me this is 0.12% of Whatcom County's population has the coronavirus. Repeat this for all of your rows. Or, again, let the spreadsheet do the work for you. You see that little box on the corner of my highlighted cell here. If I click that and drag it down, it is going to copy that formula to these other rows. And now you can see I hit enter at the end, and now it has gone ahead, copied that formula, copied the percent format, and it has figured it out for all of my counties that I have done. Now we're going to do the same thing for here, except we are going to divide this number by the state's total number of coronavirus cases. So I am going to go back to my COVID-19 data page for Washington State, 10,411 cases. So on my spreadsheet here, I am going to type in 10,411. Now, I want to know what Whatcom County's percentage of Washington State's COVID-19 cases is. I am going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the number that's in this cell, only this time divided by the number in this cell. Equal sign, parentheses, B2 / is divided by G2. And again, remember to close the parentheses. And so Whatcom County accounts for 2.48% of Washington State's coronavirus cases. So what I want you to do is figure out all of your percentages for your chosen counties and your percentage of the state's coronavirus cases. I want you to total the number of cases and the county populations. And then the last thing I want you to do is create a chart, sometimes called a graph. Here's how you're going to do it. I want to see, of the 5 counties I've chosen, which one has the most cases. Now, you can probably tell by looking, but I really want to see visually how that works out percentage-wise. So what I'm going to do is click both the text and the number of cases. Now notice I'm not including the population. I just want the number of COVID-19 cases along with the text. And then I'm going to go up here and do the insert chart symbol. You can also do this from the insert menu. Insert chart. I'm going to go ahead and use the button here because it's easier. Insert chart, and it's going to come up with a default chart. Now I can compare them like this. I often like to do a pie chart so I can see things as percentages of a whole. And so I'm going to go to the Explore bar that opens up here, and I'm going to click where it says column chart, and I'm going to look at my options. Yeah, it does have a labeled pie chart for me, and I'm going to do that. Now, here's what I really like looking at. I can see now that, well, Spokane is this orange chunk, and of the 5 counties I chose, it has this number of cases versus Yakima has this number versus King County has all of these. These are nice, clear, and handy visuals as long as the user understands what they're looking at. And so, and if I want to make it more clear, I can change the label by double clicking up here to make it clearer if I want to. Now, you saw me highlight that very handy numbers here right next to the text. I don't want to get two separate sets of numbers or my chart won't make sense. So I'm going to click and highlight just this column, and I'm going to click the chart button again. And now it's given me my pie chart and by county population, but it's not giving me the counties. How do I do that? Well, you can see over here it says add label. I'm going to click there, and it's going to say what is the data range. And again, I'm just going to choose some cells. I'm going to say, hey, where it says Whatcom County is in A2, and all the way down to Spokane County is in A6. And because I did them all in a nice column, one after the other, I can just show the range. I want A2, and I'm going to use the colon. That's the symbol for through A6. And I'm going to click OK. Now the chart knows what I'm talking about. Now it drops in that handy label. So that is your assignment. When you get done with these things in your assignment, simply click the turn in button. Yours will be right up here. And this is due by the end of next week. That will be April 27th. You guys have a fantastic week.